It's time to stop wasting your life on habits that are making you weaker. Every day you follow the same routine that leads nowhere. And deep down you know it. You know what's holding you back, but you keep letting it stay. Why? Why keep repeating the same actions that bring you stress, guilt, and regret? If you're tired of living that way, if you're ready to rebuild yourself for real, this video is for you. You're going to learn how to find the habits that are dragging you down and how to destroy them. Step by step. No fluff, no confusion. Just real clear steps that work in real life. This is your chance to take your power back, change how you think, and build new patterns that make you stronger. If you're serious about change, don't click away. This could be the moment that starts everything. Stay with me, because your future depends on what you do now. Number 1, identify habits keeping you weak and eliminate them immediately. If you want to rebuild yourself, if you're serious about living a better life, one of the first things you must do is look at your habits. Not the big dreams, not the goals you've written down, not the plans you've been making. No, you start with your habits, because that's where you live every day. That's what determines your results. That's what controls your progress or your downfall. And if you've been stuck, if you've been tired of the same old life, it's because you're carrying around habits that are keeping you weak. And until you face them, nothing will change. You have to be honest with yourself. Sit down and think, what are you doing every day that makes you weaker? What patterns have you repeated for years that leave you with regret at the end of the day? What choices do you make without thinking that always pull you further away from the life you want? Is it hitting the snooze button over and over again when you know you need to get up? Is it eating garbage that drains your energy and fogs your thinking? Is it wasting hours scrolling your phone instead of learning something, instead of creating something, instead of becoming better? Maybe it's the habit of complaining, of blaming, of avoiding responsibility. You think it's small, but it's not. Those habits are destroying your potential. They rob you of self-respect. They keep you from moving forward. And here's the truth. Weak habits don't just show up one day. You build them slowly over time. You give in once and then again, and it becomes normal. And once it's normal, it becomes invisible. That's the dangerous part. You stop noticing it. You stop questioning it. And before you know it, your life feels like it's stuck in place, and you don't know why. But it's because you've been living with habits that pull you down. So the first step is to identify them. Don't hide from them. Don't pretend they're not there. Sit quietly. Write them down. What are you doing every single day that is keeping you from being strong? What are you doing that you would never recommend to someone you care about? Be raw about it. If you're wasting time, write it down. If you're eating poorly, write it down. If you avoid the hard conversations or the hard work, write it down. If you give up too easily, write it down. If you overthink and underact, write it down. If you spend your days reacting instead of creating, write it down. Because once you identify these habits, you've taken the first step, and it's not easy. It takes courage to admit to yourself that the life you're living isn't what you want it to be. Not because of the world, not because of the economy, not because of your parents or your boss, but because of your choices. That's power. That's ownership. Now, once you see the habits, the next step is clear. You eliminate them, not next year, not next week, right now. If it's something that weakens you, stop giving it your time. Stop giving it your energy. Kill it before it kills your ambition. It might be uncomfortable. It might even feel strange. But you have to understand this. You are not your habits. You created those habits. That means you can destroy them. That means you can build better ones. That means you are not stuck. You are not broken. You are simply operating on patterns that are no longer serving you, and you have the power to change them. This is not about perfection. It's about self-respect. It's about strength. It's about doing what needs to be done so that you can feel proud of yourself when you go to bed at night. It's about having the energy and the focus to create a life that means something. Start small. Start today. If one of your habits is waking up late, set your alarm and get up on time. If one of your habits is reaching for junk food when you're stressed, throw it out and make a better choice. If one of your habits is watching mindless videos for hours, put the phone down and pick up a book. If you procrastinate, do one task immediately. If you avoid hard work, schedule it. and show up for it. Every time you take action, you gain strength. Every time you do something you don't feel like doing, but you know is good for you, you grow. You start to shift the way you see yourself. You begin to build trust in yourself. And that trust, that belief that you can depend on you, that changes everything. You don't have to tell the world what you're doing. This is not about impressing people. This is about rebuilding the one person you'll live with for the rest of your life, yourself. That means removing the behaviors that are pulling you down and replacing them with ones that pull you up. You might face some resistance. That's normal. Your mind is used to your old ways. It will try to convince you to keep doing what's easy, what's familiar. But familiar is not always good. Familiar can be the reason your dreams are dying. Familiar can be the reason your relationships are shallow. Familiar can be the reason you feel unfulfilled. Don't settle for that. You owe it to yourself to be more. But you don't become more by wishing or waiting. You become more by doing, by acting, by choosing the hard thing over the easy one, by killing the habits that weaken you and replacing them with the ones that strengthen you. And here's what happens when you start doing that. You feel alive. You feel focused. You begin to take back control of your day, your energy, your results. You stop drifting and start directing. You stop reacting and start creating. And you begin to separate yourself from the crowd. Not by talking, not by pretending, but by the way you live. People around you start to notice. They won't say it at first, but they'll feel it. There's something different about you. You're not wasting time like they are. You're not making excuses like they are. You're moving with purpose, and that's rare. You want a better job? Kill the habits that are making you unreliable. You want better health? Kill the habits that are making you tired. You want better relationships? Kill the habits that are making you selfish or distracted. You want to feel proud of yourself? Kill the habits that make you feel guilty and ashamed. Nobody is going to do this for you. You have to decide. You have to want more than comfort. You have to want freedom. And freedom doesn't come from what you say. It comes from how you live. If something is weakening your body, your mind, your focus, your results, don't explain it away. Don't justify it. Don't label it as normal. Call it what it is. A problem, a block, a thief of progress, and handle it. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you have to start. You have to draw the line. You have to say, I've had enough of this. I will not keep living like this. And then back it up with action. Most people never take this step. They talk about change, but they keep living the same. You can be different. You can lead your own life. You can look at your day with honesty and say, this is helping me, or this is hurting me, and then make the right decision. Because every weak habit you hold on to is a vote for the life you don't want. Every time you say, just one more time, you're building the very thing you say you hate. But every time you take control, every time you say no to weakness and yes to strength, you're building a new version of yourself. And that's how you rebuild. That's how you rise. One habit at a time, one decision at a time, not in your dreams, not in your imagination, but in real life. Start with one habit, identify it, face it, remove it, replace it, and then move to the next, and then the next. Soon your days will look different. Your results will look different. Your future will look different. Because you'll be different. You'll be stronger, clearer, more focused, more alive. Not because someone handed it to you, but because you earned it. Because you decided that your weak habits would no longer have the final say in your life. That's how you rebuild yourself. Not by talking big, not by waiting for the right moment, but by doing what needs to be done, starting right now. Number 2, challenge yourself daily and abandon comfort zone habits. Most people want to change their lives, but they never challenge themselves. They say they want more, but they keep living the same way. They keep doing what's easy. They stick to what feels familiar. That's the trap. You stay comfortable, and your life stays small. You play it safe, and nothing grows. If you want to rebuild yourself, you've got to challenge yourself every single day. Not sometimes. Not when it's convenient. Every day. Comfort is not your friend. It feels good for a while, But it doesn't take you anywhere. It keeps you still. It keeps you soft. It keeps you hidden from the hard things that help you grow. And the longer you live in comfort, the harder it gets to break out of it. You start to believe that your limits are your reality. You start to settle. You stop aiming higher. But the truth is, every great thing you want in life is waiting outside of your comfort zone. That's where you grow. That's where you find strength. That's where you build the discipline that changes everything. You have to start putting pressure on yourself, not to impress anyone, not to compete with others, but because pressure reveals who you are. It forces you to level up. When you challenge yourself, you stop relying on the world to give you motivation. You give it to yourself. You stop making excuses. You stop letting fear decide your actions. You stop being lazy with your time, your effort, your focus. If you're not pushing yourself, you're coasting. And coasting always leads downhill. You lose your edge. You get distracted easily. You settle for things you don't even like. And worse, you lose the respect you should have for yourself. That's why you have to make daily challenges a part of your life. You've got to demand more from yourself. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a real, consistent way. Do something hard on purpose. Wake up earlier than usual and get your day started with intention. Train your body when you don't feel like it. Work longer on your project, even when you're tired. Speak up when you usually stay quiet. Study when others are wasting time. Face that one thing you've been avoiding. Make that hard call. Say no when it's easier to say yes. Keep your word when no one's watching. That's the kind of daily pressure that shapes a strong human being. You're not going to become better by wishing or waiting. You're going to become better by doing. But not just doing easy things. Not just repeating the same routine. You've got to break the patterns that keep you in the same place. You've got to shake up your day. Try something uncomfortable. Stretch yourself. Build a life that forces you to rise to a higher standard. You grow when you stop protecting yourself from hard things. The challenge is not the enemy. The challenge is the teacher. It will teach you how to manage your emotions, how to build grit, how to stay calm when everything gets hard, how to keep moving when you feel like stopping. But if you avoid the challenge, you avoid the lesson. And if you avoid the lesson, you avoid the growth. Every single day, life gives you the chance to show up stronger. And every time you ignore that chance, you get weaker. You lose your sharpness. You lose your momentum. But when you embrace the daily challenge, you take back control. You build your own motivation. You don't need someone to push you. You don't wait for a sign. You move because you decided to become better. And here's something that most people won't tell you. Your comfort zone is not just where you feel safe. It's also where your weaknesses grow. It's where bad habits live. It's where doubt has power. It's where time gets wasted. It's where average becomes acceptable. If you live there too long, it becomes your identity. And when that happens, you stop believing you can change. That's why you have to break it. You do it one challenge at a time, one uncomfortable choice at a time, one honest decision at a time. You don't need to flip your life overnight. You just need to stop hiding from the things that push you, because those things are the only way you'll become the version of yourself you keep dreaming about. There's no pride in doing what's easy. There's no reward for staying the same. But there's power in doing the work that others avoid. There's strength in showing up for yourself, even when nobody's cheering. You know you're on the right path when it gets tough, because the easy path leads nowhere new. And don't think for a second that challenging yourself means being perfect. That's not the point. The point is effort. The point is progress. The point is growth. Some days you'll fall short. Some days you'll feel like quitting. But the fact that you showed up and tried, that matters. That's how you build real confidence. Not by always winning, but by always showing up. If you stay comfortable, you stay forgettable. You stay stuck in the same life you said you wanted to change. And no one is coming to rescue you from that. You have to wake yourself up. You have to build the habits that demand more from you. You have to rise, even when you don't feel like it. Your goals will never mean anything if you don't back them with real effort. Stop saying you want more if you're not doing more. Challenge yourself. Make your daily routine harder, stronger, sharper. Set higher standards for how you think, how you speak, how you work. Expect more from yourself than the world expects from you. You're capable of more than you've shown. But potential means nothing without pressure. Strength means nothing without resistance. And growth means nothing if you're not willing to sacrifice your comfort. This is not about becoming someone else. This is about becoming who you were meant to be, before all the laziness, the fear, the hesitation crept in. Rebuilding yourself means stripping away the weak parts of your life and replacing them with discipline, with focus, with challenge. Start your day with a win. Do something difficult. Do something you've been avoiding. Push your mind, push your body, push your limits, and then do it again tomorrow. You don't need anyone's permission to do this. You just need to decide that you're done living like you used to. And the moment you make that decision, really make it, you start to feel different. You carry yourself with more purpose. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing motivation. You don't need the world to tell you you're doing well, because you know it inside. You've earned it, not with words, but with action. Most people won't do this. They'll stay in their routines. They'll keep doing the same things, hoping for different results. But that won't be you. Not if you challenge yourself daily. Not if you walk into discomfort and make it part of your life. That's how you rise. That's how you build a new identity. One action at a time. One decision at a time. One day at a time. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop looking for the easy route. Stop protecting your comfort zone like it's your home. It's not your home. It's your cage. Break out of it. Step into the unknown. Face the challenge. And remember, you don't grow by chance. You grow by challenge. You grow by choice. You grow when you stop making excuses and start doing what's hard. Every day. That's the way forward. That's how you rebuild yourself. That's how you rise above the life you settled for. And it starts today. Number 3. Replace excuses with bold actions and unstoppable discipline. If there's one thing that holds people back more than anything else, it's excuses. Excuses are the silent killers of dreams. They sound reasonable. They sound innocent. But they are the very things standing between you and the life you want. You say you don't have time. You say you don't have energy. You say it's not the right moment. You say you're too tired, too stressed, too confused. But the truth is, you're letting your mind control you instead of controlling your mind. Excuses aren't facts. They're just decisions you've made to avoid responsibility. And the longer you let them rule your life, the more powerless you become. You were not born to sit back and explain why your life isn't where you want it to be. You were made to move. You were made to act. You were made to face reality and shape it through effort. But none of that happens if you keep running behind reasons instead of results. There is a difference between being tired and being undisciplined. There is a difference between being busy and being ineffective. Until you make that clear, you will keep convincing yourself you're doing your best while doing just enough to stay where you are. Bold action starts where your excuses end. You take bold action when you stop explaining and start doing. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need approval. What you need is a decision. One strong decision that says, I will no longer tolerate weakness from myself, and then follow that decision with behavior. Because talk means nothing without behavior. You can plan, you can hope, you can say all the right things. But none of that means anything until you move. And you must move. You must move, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. Because action is the cure. Action gives you clarity. Action creates momentum. When you sit and think all day, your mind becomes a factory of doubt. But when you act, you shut down the voice of hesitation. You start to see progress. You start to feel different. You take back control. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about showing up, no matter how you feel. You don't need motivation every day. You need standards. You need structure. You need to stop waiting to feel like it and just do what needs to be done. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about your actions, and your actions are the only thing that will change your life. You don't need a new strategy. You need execution. You already know what to do. The problem is not knowledge. The problem is you keep waiting for comfort. You keep giving yourself permission to delay. You keep allowing small reasons to justify big inaction. That's how people waste their potential. That's how time slips away. That's how years go by without change. You want to build something better. Replace every excuse with an action. If you say you don't have time, wake up earlier. If you say you're too tired, go anyway and get it done. If you say you don't know where to start anywhere and adjust as you go. If you say it's hard, accept that and push through. If you say you've failed before, learn from it and move forward. But whatever you do, stop explaining why you're stuck and start doing something that gets you unstuck. You're not the only one who feels fear. You're not the only one who has doubts. You're not the only one who struggles. But the difference between those who move forward and those who stay behind is action. Some people decide to act even when it's tough. Others decide to wait until it's easy. But it never gets easier. It only gets later. And the more you delay, the harder it becomes to change. You owe it to yourself to break this pattern. You owe it to yourself to stop justifying weakness. You owe it to yourself to build a level of discipline that silences your excuses. Not for the world, for you. Because every time you keep your word to yourself, you grow stronger. Every time you follow through when it's hard, you earn your own respect. And when you respect yourself, you don't tolerate excuses anymore. You don't need 10 steps. You need one step done with absolute commitment. You don't need to wait until you're in the mood. You need to build habits that run, regardless of how you feel. Bold action doesn't ask how you feel. It just moves. It gets up early. It puts in the work. It stays late, if needed. It practices when no one is watching. It studies when others are distracted. It trains while others are scrolling. That's how you separate yourself. You must build a mindset that says, do it anyway. You're tired? Do it anyway. You're uncomfortable? Do it anyway. You're unsure? Do it anyway. That mindset kills excuses before they grow. That mindset builds strength. That mindset gives you results when others are still waiting to feel ready. When you have discipline, you don't need someone to check in on you. You don't need to be reminded. You don't need to be pushed. You become the kind of person who follows through, because that's who you are. Not because it's easy, but because you made it non-negotiable. Stop waiting for the right conditions. They're not coming. You create the right conditions through bold daily action. That's where change happens. That's where results begin. That's where you rebuild yourself. Excuses are comfortable. They protect your ego. They let you pretend, but they also keep you average. They keep you silent. They keep you invisible. You want to be different? Eliminate the comfort of excuses. Choose the discomfort of discipline instead. You won't always win. You won't always get it right. But if you act with discipline, you'll always move forward. And forward is all that matters. Progress is better than perfection. Doing is better than doubting. Trying is better than talking. There is no pride in being lazy. There is no reward in delay. There is only satisfaction in doing what needs to be done, especially when it's difficult. That's the foundation of a strong life. That's how you build something real, something you can be proud of. If you're tired of the same problems, change your patterns. If you're tired of making excuses, replace them with action. If you want to feel proud, act in ways that make you proud. This is not magic. This is daily discipline. It's choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. It's choosing action over excuse. It's choosing responsibility over blame. The people you admire didn't get there through comfort. They didn't get there by making excuses. They got there through sacrifice, through focus, through relentless discipline. And you can do the same. But you have to start now, not tomorrow, not when it's easier, not when it's perfect, right now. You don't need a guarantee. You need courage. Courage to show up. Courage to act. Courage to keep going when it's hard. Discipline is the proof of that courage. It's the daily reminder that you are in control, not your emotions, not your doubts, not your fears. Your future is shaped by what you do today. So ask yourself, are you moving forward or explaining why you're not? Are you acting with discipline or reacting with excuses? Are you building something better or staying stuck in what's familiar? You don't need to wait. You don't need permission. You don't need more time. What you need is a reason to stop playing small, a reason to stop wasting potential, a reason to stop making excuses and start making progress. And if that reason is strong enough, you will act. You will stay consistent. You will build the life you say you want. One bold action at a time. One disciplined decision at a time. That's how you get there. That's how you rebuild. That's how you become powerful. You are not your excuses. You are your effort. You are your choices. You are your discipline. Choose to act like it. Number 4. Reject instant pleasures and build meaningful, lasting strength. One of the greatest traps in life is chasing what feels good in the moment. The world is filled with temptations that promise quick pleasure but offer nothing lasting in return. You scroll, you snack, you waste time, you avoid pressure, and for a moment, it feels nice. It feels easy. But when it's over, there's nothing left except the guilt, the regret, and the sense that you've wasted another day. You trade what you truly want for what's easy to reach. And every time you do that, you weaken yourself just a little more. You have to understand something: instant pleasure is the enemy of growth. It distracts you. It pulls your focus. It keeps you weak because it rewards you without asking anything from you. It makes you feel like you've done something when you've done nothing. It keeps your attention busy while your dreams fade in the background. And if you let this become your routine, your identity will follow. You must develop the strength to reject what's easy when it doesn't serve you. Not because you hate pleasure, but because you love your future more. Every time you turn away from the thing that gives you a quick hit and instead do the thing that builds your character, you grow. You build self-control. You increase your mental toughness. You stop being controlled by urges and start controlling your direction. There is nothing impressive about living for comfort. Everyone does that. What's rare is the man or woman who can say no, who can pause, who can walk away from the things that feel good and walk toward the things that create strength. That's where personal power comes from restraint, from discipline, from being fully aware of what's at stake and choosing growth anyway. The truth is, you already know what's stealing your time and energy. You already know the habits that leave you feeling empty afterward. The endless entertainment, the mindless eating, the late nights doing nothing meaningful. You don't need someone to explain it to you. You just need to face it without excuses. The strength you're looking for begins when you stop lying to yourself. If you want to feel proud, if you want to wake up with purpose, if you want to go to bed knowing you moved your life forward, then you have to stop making room for things that don't help you build that life. It's not easy, but that's the point. Easy has failed you. You've tried easy, and it left you frustrated. It left you behind. Now it's time to do what works. Choose effort over comfort. Choose progress over escape. Choose the long-term benefit over the short-term reward. You have to train yourself to think further ahead, to see past the moment, to stop making decisions based only on how you feel now. Your future deserves more than that. It deserves choices made from strength, not weakness. Start looking at everything in your life with one question. Does this build me or break me? That show, that app, that snack, that late night distraction, that decision, does it lead you closer to the person you want to become? Or does it keep you stuck where you've always been? Be honest about it, because honesty is the starting point of real strength. You're not a machine. You don't need to remove every good thing from your life. But you do need to earn your rewards. You do need to delay gratification. You do need to build the habit of working first, growing first, pushing first, then resting, then enjoying, not the other way around. Flip the order and you flip your results. There's something powerful that happens when you control yourself. You walk differently. You think differently. You trust yourself more. You stop needing outside approval because you know you're doing what's right, even when no one's watching. Especially then. That's where real strength is built, in the choices you make when nobody will give you credit for them. You don't have to become perfect, but you do have to become serious, because your time is running out. And if you keep chasing comfort, one day you'll look back and realize you wasted the best years of your life on things that didn't matter. Things that made you feel good for 5 minutes and left you with nothing in return. That realization will hurt, but you can avoid it. You can turn things around. You build strength by choosing what's hard now so you can have what's worth it later. You build strength by sitting down to work when you'd rather lie down and scroll. You build strength by facing your responsibilities before you reach for pleasure. You build strength by sticking to your plan, not your feelings. That kind of strength doesn't come from talent. It comes from daily choices, from consistent effort, from refusing to be a slave to the moment. People will tell you to live in the moment, but they forget that not every moment is meant to be enjoyed. Some moments are meant to test you, to train you, to push you into the next level. If you keep skipping those moments, you miss the entire process of becoming strong. Strength is not found in a life of ease. It's found in the life of discipline. It doesn't take a giant leap. It just takes one different decision, one act of discipline today, one rejection of instant pleasure today, and then again tomorrow, and then again the next day. Soon it becomes your rhythm, your mindset, your lifestyle. And once you build that, no one can take it from you. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than your old self. It's about showing up differently. It's about being the one who does what others refuse to do. Not to prove a point, but because you know who you want to become. And that vision matters more to you than whatever cheap high the world is offering today. You'll feel the temptation. You'll feel the pull. But you'll also feel the power of saying no. The power of choosing your standards over your urges. That power changes your entire life. It shapes your mind. It strengthens your will. It sharpens your focus. The people who live with meaning, the people who build strong lives, the people who walk with real confidence, they didn't get there through comfort. They didn't get there by doing what felt good. They got there by making sacrifices. Most people aren't willing to make, and you can too. But it starts with one clear decision to stop choosing what's easy and start choosing what's right. You want to feel strong? Then prove to yourself that you can act with discipline. You want to earn success? Then show that you can resist what distracts you. You want to live with meaning? Then stop chasing feelings and start building habits. There's no shortcut to strength. It's earned through repetition, through pain, through patience. You don't need to fix everything at once. Just choose one thing today and do it differently. One small action that leans into discomfort instead of escaping from it. One decision that puts your future self first, and keep doing that. Every day, without fail. That's how you grow. That's how you evolve. That's how you become unshakable. Not by being lucky, not by being gifted, but by doing what most won't do, rejecting the pleasures that weaken you, and building the habits that strengthen you. Your emotions will tempt you to break your plan. Your mind will come up with excuses to delay your effort, but you don't have to listen to them. You're not your feelings. You're not your cravings. You're not your comfort. You're the decisions you make. And when you choose wisely, when you act from vision, when you fight through resistance, you build something solid inside of you, something lasting, something powerful. That's the version of you the world needs. That's the version of you you've been waiting to become. Not soft, not scattered, not reactive, but focused, disciplined, strong. You don't get there by chance. You get there by work, by choosing long-term strength over short-term ease, by saying no when it's easier to say yes, by doing the work when nobody claps for you. That's what separates the people who change their lives from those who only talk about it. So ask yourself, what are you choosing right now? Are you picking habits that build your legacy, or habits that entertain your weakness? Are you acting like the person you want to be, or the person you've always been? The answer is in your actions. The answer is in your discipline. And the power to change is in your hands. Start now, not later, not next week, right now. Build your strength, reject what weakens you, and never look back. Number 5, attack laziness head on and win your daily battles. Laziness doesn't always scream at you. Sometimes it whispers. It tells you there's still time. It tells you to relax just a little longer. It tells you the task can wait. And if you listen, you lose. You don't lose all at once. You lose slowly. You lose the sharpness of your mind. You lose the strength of your focus. You lose the chance to build something meaningful today. Laziness feels harmless in the moment, but it steals more from you than anything else ever will. If you want to win in life, you have to attack laziness the second you feel it. You can't negotiate with it. You can't reason with it. You destroy it by moving. You kill it with action. Every single day, the battle is real. It shows up in the morning when you know you should get up, but you don't want to. It shows up when your work is waiting, but you're tempted to delay. It shows up when you have an opportunity to grow, but you pick distraction instead. If you give laziness an inch, it will take the whole day. You cannot let that happen. You have to wake up prepared to fight. You have to train your mind to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. That's where your strength lives, in the ability to act without needing comfort. You won't become strong by doing what's easy. You become strong by showing up when you'd rather sit down. You become strong by pushing through tired moments. You build power by proving to yourself that you are in charge. Not your mood, not your energy level, not your emotions. The more you act in spite of those things, the stronger you get. The stronger you get, the less power laziness has over you. Laziness grows in silence. It hides behind good excuses. It wraps itself in comfort. It uses your desire for ease against you. And if you don't confront it, it begins to control you. You have to break that cycle early. You have to stand up and say no more. No more wasted mornings. No more unfinished plans. No more avoiding what matters. You have a life to build. You have potential to unlock. You have goals that require your best effort, and laziness will never get you there. Start by catching the lazy voice in your mind. Catch it the moment it shows up. When it tells you to rest before you've earned it, move instead. When it tells you to wait until tomorrow, act now. When it tells you that you've done enough, push harder. That's how you take back control, by proving to yourself that the lazy version of you doesn't get to decide your future. Winning your day doesn't require perfection. It requires movement. It requires you to act again and again until the habit of doing becomes stronger than the habit of avoiding. You don't need motivation every hour. What you need is to keep going even without it. You need to learn how to start without feeling like it. Because once you start, you create momentum. And momentum is what laziness fears most. It cannot survive in a mind that has already decided to push through. You'll notice something when you start living this way. Your days begin to feel fuller. Your energy changes. You don't walk around with that dull feeling of having wasted time. You walk with certainty. You speak with confidence. You begin to trust yourself because you've seen what happens when you stop waiting and start doing. You will still have tired days. You will still hear the pull of rest when there's work to do. But now you'll be ready. You won't give in so easily. You won't lie to yourself. You'll know the difference between real rest and wasted time. You'll know when to push and when to recover. That's called self-mastery. That's how real discipline is built. Laziness wins when your plan is weak. It wins when you drift through your day without a target. If you want to stay sharp, your schedule has to have purpose. You wake up knowing what must get done. You don't wait for the day to happen to you. You take control from the start. Set goals that are clear. Break them down into tasks. Follow through no matter how small they seem. Every small win is a step further from laziness. Every task you complete builds your focus. A lot of people blame their failures on the world. They say the timing was wrong or the system is unfair. But more often than not, the problem is much simpler. They just didn't do the work. They wanted the rewards without the routine. They wanted the progress without the pressure. But there is no progress without effort. You will never get ahead while dragging the weight of laziness behind you. You need to create daily pressure, not stress, not chaos, but urgency. You need to feel the value of time. You need to understand that your minutes matter, that every hour you waste is an hour you will never get back. Laziness dies in the face of urgency. So build your day around action. Fill your hours with focus. Structure your life so that there's little room for the lazy mind to take over. Don't let comfort destroy your discipline. Don't let convenience ruin your edge. Don't let temporary rest become permanent delay. Every time you feel the urge to take it easy, stop and ask, what am I avoiding? Because laziness is usually hiding from responsibility. It's hiding from the hard task. It's running from the challenge. You need to run toward it instead. Face it, beat it, win your day. There is nothing noble about wasting potential. There is no honor in doing less than what you're capable of. The people who change their lives are the ones who treat each day like a test of focus, a test of effort, a test of mental strength. You don't pass that test by chance. You pass it by choice. You decide that no matter how you feel, you will still show up. You will still put in the work. You will still move with purpose. You'll find that the more you do this, the less effort it takes. Because action becomes automatic. Discipline becomes your rhythm. You no longer debate with yourself in the morning. You get up and go. You don't hesitate when it's time to work. You dive in. That's how the strong build themselves. Through practice, through repetition, through refusing to accept anything less than full effort. And you won't need applause. You won't need recognition. The satisfaction of knowing you won today will be enough. That feeling of earning your progress, that's what drives the best performers. That's what separates those who move forward from those who stay behind. You're not born with discipline. You build it by killing laziness before it grows. You build it by stacking days of effort, one after another. And even when you fall, you don't let laziness take over. You stand back up. You reset. You continue. Because losing one battle doesn't mean losing the war. You stay in the fight. Attack your lazy habits where they live. Change your environment. If it makes slacking off easy, put limits on distractions. Create systems that force movement. Use alarms. Use timers. Create accountability. Whatever it takes to make action easier than inaction. Design a life that rewards discipline and punishes delay. It's not about being busy all the time. It's about being productive. It's about using your energy in the right places. Laziness often hides in useless activity. So check yourself. Ask if what you're doing is truly moving you forward or just filling time. Focus on what matters. Give your best to what counts. You can build a powerful life, but it won't happen while you're taking it easy. It won't happen while you're giving in to every urge to slow down. The life you want requires a level of focus and energy that laziness cannot provide. It requires decisions made from strength, not convenience. There will be days when you're tempted to take shortcuts, when no one is watching, when it's quiet, when it would be so easy to cut corners. Those moments will define you. You either give in or you rise. You either stay average or you become exceptional. And don't wait until you feel motivated. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. You build that by deciding that excuses are no longer acceptable. You build that by holding yourself to higher standards. You build that by remembering why you started and reminding yourself that every step counts. Stop giving time to the lazy version of you. That version has already taken too much. Replace it with someone better. Someone who acts with purpose. Someone who doesn't need to be pushed. Someone who shows up because it's the right thing to do. That's who you must become. And it starts now. With one decision. With one act of discipline. With one battle won. And then another. And another. Until winning becomes who you are. Until effort becomes normal. Until laziness no longer has a place in your life. Number 6. Embrace discomfort daily and crush your weakest routines. Growth doesn't happen when life is easy. It happens when you feel resistance and choose to face it anyway. If your days are too comfortable, you're not growing. You're staying still. You're getting weaker while calling it peace. You can't build anything meaningful without embracing discomfort. The people who achieve real change in their lives don't do it because everything was smooth. They do it because they were willing to feel pain, pressure, challenge, and still keep going. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your mirror. It shows you what needs to be fixed. It exposes the habits that keep you average. It puts your weakest routines on display. And you either face them or keep hiding behind the illusion that you're doing your best. If you're always seeking what feels good, you'll always avoid what makes you strong. You need to flip that thinking. You need to welcome the hard parts of your day like they're training sessions, because they are. When you wake up tired but still move, you train mental strength. When you resist distraction to finish what you started, you train focus. When you push through your workout, when your body wants to stop, you train willpower. That's where discipline is forged, through discomfort, not comfort. Every single person has weak routines, holding them back. The way you start your day, the way you respond to pressure, the way you react when you're uncomfortable. Some routines feel normal only because you've done them for so long. That doesn't make them right. That doesn't mean they're helping you. You've got to examine your daily structure and be honest. What part of your day makes you soft? What choices are you making out of habit that no longer belong in the life you want? You can't improve what you keep protecting. You can't fix what you keep ignoring. Start by putting yourself in situations that challenge you, not when it's convenient. Every single day. That means doing things that make your body tired, doing things that make your mind sharp, doing things that make your emotions uncomfortable. If you're not sweating mentally, physically, or emotionally at some point in your day, you're not pushing hard enough. You're playing it safe. And safe never leads to powerful results. You've been sold the idea that comfort is the goal, that if you make enough money or find the right routine, you can finally relax. But that mindset will ruin you. Comfort is a place to recover, not a place to live. You recover after you earn it. You rest after you give your all. But when you live in comfort, you lose your edge. You stop seeking the next level. You fall into routines that no longer serve your mission. The best results don't come from ease. They come from effort. They come from pushing past the moment where most people stop. That's the part that counts. The moment you want to quit and you keep going anyway. That's the real work. That's where transformation begins. The hardest part of the day is the most valuable. It tests your character. It breaks down your excuses. It shows you who you really are. And if you avoid it, you avoid the strength you say you want. You've got to crush the weak routines that hold you back. The routine of checking your phone before you even get out of bed. The routine of skipping hard conversations. The routine of eating out of boredom instead of hunger. The routine of saying, well, I'll do it later and never doing it. These small habits seem harmless, but they shape your day, and your day shapes your life. If your routines are soft, your results will be soft too. You're not going to feel ready to break them. That's the point. Discomfort doesn't wait until you're in the mood. You have to move while it's hard. You have to act while your mind is resisting. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where you become stronger than your excuses. You don't have to make dramatic changes overnight, but you do have to make consistent ones. Every day, do something that challenges your limits. Get up earlier, train harder, work longer on the tasks you've been avoiding. Speak honestly instead of playing it safe. Face the things that make your heart race and your hands shake. Those are the things worth doing. That's how you build real confidence, not by repeating what's easy, but by mastering what's hard. You're not going to feel proud by playing it safe. You feel proud when you know you overcame yourself. When you did what you didn't feel like doing. When you silenced the lazy voice and moved anyway. You feel pride when you stop looking for comfort and start chasing progress. You don't need to do it for others. You do it because you owe yourself more than average. You weren't made for small goals and soft days. You were made to rise. But you'll never rise while clinging to routines that keep you still. The world won't hand you strength. You have to take it. You take it through action, through struggle, through facing yourself head on. If you avoid pain, you avoid growth. If you avoid the difficult moments, you avoid the moments that shape your character. Stop trying to avoid the pressure. Walk into it and perform. That's how you become someone you respect. That's how you build a life worth remembering. You've got to learn to welcome discomfort as your guide. Not because you love pain, but because you love who you become through it. Each time you do something difficult, you chip away at the weaker version of yourself. Each time you resist the urge to quit, you build discipline. Each time you walk into discomfort, you take power away from fear. Don't make the mistake of thinking your environment will do this for you. Your schedule, your tools, your goals. None of that matters if you don't build a mindset that runs toward the hard thing. Your routines need to support that mindset. Your systems need to challenge your softness. Your entire lifestyle must reflect the version of you you're trying to become. This is how real transformation happens. Not through talking, planning, or hoping. Through doing what hurts, what challenges, what pushes. Every single day you ask yourself, where can I be stronger? And then you go do that thing. You put your pride aside. You stop pretending everything's fine. You stop protecting your comfort zone like it's something worth saving. It's not. It's the graveyard of potential. You don't grow there. You fade there. If you want to be someone who moves mountains, you start by moving yourself out of bed when it's dark, into the gym when you're tired, toward your goals when you feel doubt. You move even when everything in you says wait, because that's where the real you is waiting, not in comfort, in challenge, in fire, in pressure. This isn't just about being productive. It's about being powerful. It's about becoming someone who doesn't fold when life gets hard. It's about building a spirit that can't be broken by minor setbacks. That kind of spirit is forged in the heat of discomfort. And if you want it, you have to earn it. Stop living soft. Stop protecting routines that bring you no growth. Stop pretending that someday you'll feel ready. You won't. And you don't need to. You need to act before you feel like it. You need to make discomfort part of your normal. The earlier in your day you face something hard, the stronger the rest of your day becomes. Start with discomfort, and you train your mind to stop fearing it. Don't aim for easy. Aim for strength. Aim for discipline. Aim for growth. Those things don't come from doing what you've always done. They come from challenging everything that makes you hesitate. Every time you break a weak routine, you send a message to yourself. I am not who I used to be. I am becoming someone stronger. And that message is more powerful than any motivation video, any quote, any promise. That message, lived out through your actions, is what builds your new identity. You become someone with grit, with endurance, with power, because you showed up for the hard work. The version of you that reaches the next level is not hiding behind your fears. That version is on the other side of the routines you haven't changed. You want to meet that version. Then break those routines. Destroy them. Replace them with habits that challenge your weakness. And do it again. Every day. Without exception. You don't get this life twice. You don't get a reset button. What you have is today. What you have is this moment. Use it to become someone you're proud of. Not through words, through actions. Through choosing the path that tests you. Through doing what most people won't. You're not here to coast. You're not here to repeat yesterday. You're here to evolve. That happens through fire, through struggle, through embracing discomfort, until it becomes your normal, until strength becomes your standard, until the life you used to want becomes the life you actually live. And that starts with one choice: to face what's hard and destroy what's weak every single day. Number 7, destroy procrastination and act instantly toward your goals. Procrastination is one of the most dangerous habits you can allow into your life. It looks innocent, but it quietly steals your time, drains your energy, and buries your goals. You think you're putting something off for later, but really you're choosing to delay your progress. You're telling your future self, I don't respect your potential enough to act right now. And every time you do that, you lose something you can never get back. Time that could have been spent building. Time that could have been spent improving. Time that could have moved you closer to everything you say you want. The reason most people stay stuck isn't because they don't know what to do. It's because they keep waiting to feel like doing it. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect mood. They wait for conditions to be just right. But none of that is necessary. You don't need the perfect mood to act. You don't need motivation to get started. What you need is a decision. A strong and final decision that says, I'm done waiting. You must act instantly, not in a few minutes, not after thinking about it for an hour, not after planning it out perfectly. The second the thought comes to mind, move. The moment the opportunity appears, act. The habit of instant action destroys procrastination faster than anything else. If you pause and wait, your mind will start building reasons to avoid. That's how procrastination lives. It grows in hesitation. It feeds on delays. But when you move instantly, you leave no space for doubt to grow. Every time you delay, you teach yourself that it's okay to ignore your responsibilities. You weaken your own standards. You make it easier to do the same thing tomorrow. And the more you do that, the more you accept a life that doesn't reflect your potential. It happens gradually, and you might not even notice. But one day you wake up, and you're behind. You're frustrated. You're full of unfinished ideas. And deep down you know why. It wasn't a lack of opportunity. It was a lack of urgency. Your goals are not waiting forever. Your time is not unlimited. You have no idea how much longer you have. So wasting even one day to procrastination is a decision with real consequences. The pain of not acting now is bigger than the pain of facing the task. That task you're avoiding, it's not the enemy. Avoiding it is. The moment you face it, the weight starts to lift. You regain power. You regain focus. You begin to move again. The key is not to think more. The key is to train yourself to act before the excuses begin. The more you act instantly, the more you rewire your brain to stop resisting effort. You become a person of movement, of action, of follow-through. That identity is not built through thoughts. It's built through consistent, immediate behavior. Start small if you have to. If something takes 2 minutes, do it now. Don't write it down. Don't tell someone you'll do it. Just do it. If there's something that takes longer, start it right away, even if you can only do 5 minutes. The hardest part of any task is starting. But once you begin, you tap into momentum. And once you have momentum, procrastination loses its grip. You cannot rebuild your life around delay. You cannot reach your goals while entertaining the habit of postponement. The things you're putting off won't disappear. They'll only grow heavier. The stress will pile up. The mental pressure will increase. And the guilt of not doing what you know needs to be done will follow you everywhere. But when you decide to act instantly, everything shifts. You take responsibility back. You stop being a passive observer and become the creator of your results. Think about the goals you've set. Think about the things you've written down, the dreams you've talked about. If they matter to you, then prove it with action. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until the time feels right. Take one step now, even if it's messy, even if it's unclear, even if you're nervous. Action leads to clarity. Action builds belief. The more you act, the more you believe you can act. You're not too tired to take one step. You're not too busy to make progress. You don't need to clear your schedule. You need to use the time you already have with more urgency. Use 5 minutes. Use 10. Build that pattern of movement. Teach yourself that waiting is no longer acceptable, that every goal gets your attention now, not later. You don't need to finish everything in one sitting. You need to stop delaying the start. Most of your energy is wasted in avoiding. The moment you begin, the energy shifts, the stress fades, the task becomes manageable. Procrastination tricks you into believing it's safer to wait, but there is no safety in delay. There is only regret. You will never look back and be proud of the days you spent stalling. You will only be proud of the days you took action when it was hard. Your goals are waiting on the other side of your hesitation. You don't need more time. You need more commitment. You need to draw the line and say, from now on, I move fast. You need to build speed into your decisions. When you think of a good idea, act. When you know the next step, take it. When the plan is clear, execute it. Stop waiting. Start doing. This doesn't mean rushing through your day. It means eliminating the gaps where you usually hesitate. It means removing the time between thought and action. That time is where your goals die. That time is where doubt, fear, and laziness creep in. Cut that time out. Move immediately. Train your body and your brain to associate progress with urgency. You were not meant to sit on your goals and wish they would happen. You were meant to chase them with intensity. The people who reach their goals faster are not always smarter or more talented. They're just faster to act. They don't wait. They don't wonder. They move. They build. They execute. You can do the same. Don't confuse planning with action. Don't confuse reading with execution. You can know everything, but if you don't act, none of it matters. Real growth comes when you stop collecting ideas and start applying them. Use what you know. Build with what you have. Take the step with the tools in your hands right now. Procrastination ends when discipline begins. Discipline doesn't come from motivation. It comes from structure, from systems, from routines that don't change based on how you feel. Build a routine that leaves no space for delay. Design your day so that every hour has purpose. Every task has a start time, and every goal has a daily step attached to it. You don't need perfect conditions. You need personal standards. You need to be the kind of person who moves, regardless of the weather, the mood, or the pressure. The kind of person who treats every task like it matters, because it does. Everything you delay becomes a barrier. Everything you complete becomes a win. Stack the wins, build momentum, and watch your life begin to change. If you want to break the cycle, take the next step immediately after reading this. Don't think about it. Don't wait until you feel like it. Take one action now. Send the message. Do the push-ups. Write the plan. Finish the email. Clean the space. Start the task. Do anything that moves you forward. Every time you act instantly, you prove to yourself that you are not a slave to hesitation. You are a person of action. You are someone who gets things done. You are someone who makes things happen. And over time, that becomes who you are. Not just someone with goals, but someone who lives with urgency, clarity, and drive. You can't afford to keep delaying your life. You can't afford to spend another day waiting to begin. The only way forward is through action. Not tomorrow, not later. Now, always now. That's how you destroy procrastination and finally become the person you were meant to be. Number 8, face your hardest habit first and conquer it fearlessly. Every person carries at least one habit they know is holding them back. A habit they don't talk about, but one they feel every day. A habit that drains their energy, steals their time, blocks their progress, and slowly eats away at their potential. It could be the habit of overthinking or always avoiding what's difficult. It might be the habit of reacting emotionally instead of thinking clearly, or the habit of escaping responsibility whenever pressure shows up. Maybe it's spending too much time on things that don't matter. Maybe it's being inconsistent with your goals. But whatever it is, you know exactly what that habit is. You've lived with it long enough. You've watched it ruin your days. You've seen it pull you off track, and now it's time to face it. If you want to change your life, you don't run from that habit. You go after it. You take it head on. You make it the first thing you deal with, not the last, not when it's convenient, not once everything else is in place. First, because it's the one thing keeping you stuck. It's the wall between who you are and who you could become. And the longer you avoid it, the more power it gains. You can't fix your life around it. You fix your life by removing it. That's how transformation begins. You cannot conquer what you're afraid to confront. The hardest habit will not disappear because you ignore it. It will only grow stronger in silence. And every time you pretend it's not a big deal, you give it more control. You give it more room in your life. You give it the space to shape your decisions. And if you don't stop it, it becomes who you are. That's not something you can afford. Not if you care about growth. Not if you care about becoming better. Not if you're serious about change. So what do? You shine a light on it. You stop sugarcoating it. You stop justifying it. You get real with yourself. And you say, this is the habit keeping me weak. This is the habit making me feel small. This is the habit that robs me of self-respect. You name it. You write it down. And you commit to facing it with full strength. No more hiding behind lesser tasks. No more waiting for a better time. You go right at it. Today, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to feel resistance. But that's the point. The hardest habit is the one you've been protecting the longest. Breaking it will feel like breaking part of your identity. But you have to remember that identity was built through repetition, not truth. And just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's right. Familiarity is not freedom. Comfort is not power. You don't win your life by staying attached to patterns that destroy you slowly. You take back your power the moment you act, the moment you do what you've avoided, the moment you stop negotiating with the part of yourself that wants to stay average. You have to decide that nothing is more important than removing this habit. Not the opinions of others, not how you feel in the moment, not how long you've lived with it. None of that matters. What matters is who you are becoming, and this habit is in the way. If the hardest habit is staying up late and wasting your mornings, you stop tonight. If it's scrolling your phone instead of focusing, you set hard limits and stick to them. If it's eating out of emotion, you change your environment and take control of your decisions. If it's constantly avoiding hard conversations, you write down what needs to be said and you say it. If it's being passive about your goals, you pick the hardest step and you do it immediately. You attack the root. You don't play around with it. You deal with it like it's urgent, because it is. Every time you face it, you grow stronger. Every time you lean into the hard thing, you take away its power, and eventually what used to feel impossible becomes normal. That's the reward of courage. It builds confidence, not the fake kind, where you pretend everything's fine. The real kind, where you know you've conquered something that once controlled you. And you don't need to be fearless. You just need to act while afraid. You need to make a move before your doubt takes over. Fear fades when you take action. Courage is not something you wait for. It's something you build by showing up every day and choosing the harder path. There's a reason why your hardest habit has stuck around for so long. It gave you something. Maybe it helped you escape. Maybe it helped you feel safe. Maybe it helped you avoid failure. But now it's holding you back. And what helped you survive in the past is now stopping you from thriving. It's no longer useful. It's poison, dressed like comfort. And you need to treat it like the threat it is. The people who succeed at the highest levels don't have fewer bad habits. They just attack them sooner. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the perfect strategy. They see a problem and they handle it. They build momentum not by doing what's fun, but by doing what's necessary. You must do the same. Not because it's easy, because it's required. Think about what happens if you don't face it. Really think. What does your life look like in 5 years if you're still controlled by the same habit? What do your days feel like? What do your results look like? That future is not worth living. You already know that. And that's why you're here. Because something inside of you knows it's time to break free. So stop putting it off. Stop getting ready to change. Just start. Even if your hands shake, even if your voice cracks, even if the first attempt fails, you do it anyway. Because the habit will never disappear until you take control of it. You must interrupt it. You must weaken it. You must challenge it every day until it no longer defines you. And the good news is this: the moment you take that first action, you create a new path, a new pattern, a new rhythm. It won't be perfect, but it will be real. And real change always starts with a moment of courage. That moment is now. This is not something to add to your to-do list. This is the work. This is the moment you take back your power. You're going to feel the urge to quit. That's natural. But quitting is not an option anymore. You've quit before, and it brought you here. You've delayed before, and it brought you here. Now you move different. Now you act different. Now you think different. You don't wait for the pain to disappear. You move through it, because what's waiting on the other side is worth it. Once you break your hardest habit, you begin to see everything else differently. Other habits become easier to manage. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence grows. Your goals begin to feel possible again, because you've handled the hardest thing first. You've faced the giant, and now the small things can no longer stop you. This one action will bleed into every area of your life. You'll speak with more strength. You'll walk with more certainty. You'll carry yourself like someone who follows through. That kind of person is rare. That kind of person builds things. That kind of person inspires others. Not with words, but with behavior. And once you've done it, you'll never want to go back. You'll never want to be the person who runs from hard things. You'll want to be the person who moves into the fire and walks out stronger. You'll become addicted to progress, addicted to effort, addicted to conquering weakness. There will still be hard days. There will still be moments of doubt. But now you'll know who you are. You'll know what you're capable of. Because you did the thing that once terrified you. You looked it in the eye and said, "Not anymore." And that kind of moment stays with you. It becomes a turning point, a line in the sand, a day you never forget. So make this that day. No more waiting, no more avoiding, no more hiding. Take your hardest habit and make it your target. Start now, not tomorrow, not when it feels easier. Right now, face it, break it, conquer it, and never look back. Number 9, choose growth activities and refuse weakness-based decisions. Every day you're given a choice. You can either grow or stay the same. You can move forward or fall back into what's easy. You can rise with purpose or sink with comfort. These aren't random outcomes. They're decisions you make moment by moment, thought by thought, action by action. You don't need more time. You don't need better conditions. You need to stop making choices that come from weakness and start making choices that build strength. Weakness-based decisions come from the part of you that's afraid. Afraid of pressure, afraid of failure, afraid of discomfort. That part wants to keep things safe. That part wants to avoid challenge, responsibility, and accountability. It convinces you to say no when you should say yes. It convinces you to sit when you should move. It wants you to settle. And the more you feed that side of yourself, the more you shrink. Growth doesn't come from doing what's familiar. It comes from doing what stretches you. You grow when you choose what forces you to think bigger. You grow when you choose what tests your limits. You grow when you stop asking what's easiest and start asking what's necessary. The truth is, most people already know what they should be doing. The problem is they don't do it because the path looks hard. So they choose something easier, something less demanding, something that doesn't scare them. But that easier path doesn't build anything worth having. You have to learn to say no to decisions that feel good but lead nowhere. You have to train yourself to pause and ask, is this helping me grow or is it helping me stay the same? That question alone can change your life. Because once you start being honest with your choices, you start catching yourself before you drift. You start noticing the patterns that are keeping you from progress. The human mind is powerful, but without direction, it will choose comfort over growth almost every time. Your job is to guide it with purpose. Your job is to make decisions that pull you toward your potential, not away from it. That means waking up with intention. That means organizing your time around action, not just activity. That means making the hard calls, even when no one's watching. Growth activities look different for everyone, but the feeling they bring is always the same. They challenge you. They demand energy. They ask you to stay focused when distractions are everywhere. It could be training your body with more intensity. It could be learning something new when it's easier to watch something mindless. It could be saying yes to a new responsibility instead of staying comfortable in routine. It could be cutting out a toxic influence when it's easier to keep the peace. You grow every time you do something that your weaker self would avoid. Every time you take the harder road because it's the right one, you grow. Every time you step into a challenge on purpose, you build a stronger foundation. And that foundation will support every area of your life. Your relationships, your finances, your confidence, your character. You must become ruthless about your time and energy. You can't allow yourself to say yes to weak choices out of habit. You've got to look at your calendar and ask, where am I growing? If you can't find an answer, you've found the problem. That problem won't fix itself. It gets fixed when you shift your priorities. When you stop spending your best hours on low-value habits. When you stop tolerating excuses from yourself, you'll feel the pull to do what's easy. That pull will always be there, but your job is to resist it. Not with words, but with behavior. Action is the only thing that proves your intent. Wanting to grow doesn't make it happen. Choosing growth repeatedly when it's uncomfortable does. That's how you build a mindset that can't be shaken. That's how you build a life that feels solid. Weakness-based decisions show up in small moments. Skipping your workout, delaying your project, saying you'll do it later, choosing comfort food instead of nourishing your body, ignoring the difficult conversation. Each one chips away at your discipline. Each one teaches your mind that settling is acceptable. But growth-based decisions do the opposite. They teach your mind that effort is the standard. They teach your body that action is normal. They raise the quality of your entire day. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to decide that from now on, you will choose what builds you. That means sacrificing comfort when growth is available. That means saying no to the habits you've outgrown. That means building your day around the version of you that you want to become, not the version that's easy to be. Ask yourself the hard questions. Are you moving towards strength or away from it? Are you building something or just maintaining what's easy? Are you using your time with intention or letting it pass without meaning? These questions aren't meant to make you feel guilty. They're meant to wake you up, because once you're awake, you can choose differently. Choosing growth is a mindset. It's the decision to stop letting your emotions dictate your actions. It's the decision to stop letting fear shrink your goals. It's the decision to get uncomfortable on purpose. It's not supposed to feel easy. It's supposed to stretch you. That stretch is where growth lives. That's where discipline forms. That's where your confidence is built, brick by brick. You're not here to do what's popular. You're not here to fit into the routines that everyone else is following. You're here to rise above that. You're here to build something exceptional. And that starts by saying no to the shortcuts and yes to the challenge. Every time you do that, you separate yourself, not just from others, but from your past. You stop being the person who waited and start being the person who acted. You are always making a choice. Even doing nothing is a decision. So if you want different results, you must make different decisions. Choose growth every hour, every day. When it's boring, when it's painful, when it's tempting to quit, that consistency will make you unstoppable. Build a routine around growth. Make it automatic. Make it non-negotiable. Don't leave it up to how you feel. Build your day so that the hard choices are expected, not optional. Read when others scroll. Train when others sleep. Speak the truth when others stay silent. Build skills when others make excuses. That's how you multiply your power. That's how you expand your limits. You won't always get it right. That's okay. What matters is that you get back on track faster. You don't spiral. You don't use one weak decision as an excuse for another. You reset, refocus, and return to your standard. That ability to come back stronger after a slip is what defines long-term success. That's what separates the disciplined from the distracted. Your life is a reflection of your repeated decisions. If you don't like what you see, you don't complain. You don't blame. You fix it by choosing better. Right now, not later, not when it's easier. You choose the action that builds you instead of the one that drains you. Start now, not with a big leap, just with one small choice rooted in strength, one action that your weaker self would have avoided. Do it today, then do it again tomorrow. Stack the days, stack the effort, stack the growth. And before long, you'll look around and realize you've outgrown the life you used to live. That's how it's done. Not with magic, not with luck, with decisions, with discipline, with action. And it begins the moment you decide that growth matters more than ease, that strength matters more than comfort, that your future matters more than your excuses. Choose growth, no matter what. Refuse weakness, no matter how loud it gets. That's how you become who you're meant to be. Relentless, resilient, ready, always ready. Number 10, commit fully today and destroy your weak habits forever. There comes a moment in every person's life when they have to decide how they're going to live moving forward. Not just talk about change, not just think about improvement, but truly make a clear and full decision to become better. That moment can't be borrowed from someone else. It can't be forced by motivation or handed down by advice. It has to come from within. And if you're tired of starting over, tired of repeating the same empty routines, tired of promising yourself you'll do better and failing again, then that moment is now. The answer isn't waiting for the right day or waiting until you feel more confident. The answer is to commit fully today. Commitment isn't partial. It isn't a maybe. It's not something you try until it gets tough. It's a personal contract. It means deciding that from this point forward, weakness will no longer make your choices for you. You stop flirting with your bad habits. You stop giving them space. You stop keeping the door cracked open for your old behavior to creep back in. You slam that door shut and bolt it. That's the kind of clarity you need if you're going to destroy the habits that have been holding you back for so long. Your weak habits don't just happen. You created them. You gave them life. You gave them time. You repeated them until they became automatic. And that means you can unmake them the same way. But it starts with commitment. The kind of commitment that says, I don't care how long I've been this way. I'm not staying here anymore. The kind that doesn't rely on how you feel. The kind that's not swayed by your mood or your comfort or your excuses. The reason most people don't change is not because they can't. It's because they don't commit. They dip their toe in. They try for a few days. They change some things, but not everything. And then when it gets uncomfortable or inconvenient, they go right back. They tell themselves they'll start over. But starting over means nothing if you don't commit differently than you did before. You can't destroy weak habits with half effort. You have to bring everything you've got. Not someday. Today. Today is all you have. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow isn't promised. If you don't make a serious decision today, what makes you think you'll suddenly become stronger tomorrow? You won't. You'll be the same person making the same choices, hoping for different results. That's not a life. That's a loop. And you've already spent too much time there. Commitment is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about removing the option to quit. You decide that no matter how long it takes, you're going to keep going. You decide that the person you're becoming is more important than the comfort you're used to. You commit because the cost of not changing is too high. You've already seen what it's like to live with weak habits. You've already experienced the wasted time, the frustration, the disappointment. Why would you keep repeating it? Why would you keep handing your future to habits that have already proven they give you nothing in return? Every weak habit you allow to stay is one more obstacle between you and the life you want. Every time you give in, you feed the version of you that's holding you back. You give it more control, and you can't afford that. Not if you're serious. Not if you're done living a life that's beneath your potential. You have to make it non-negotiable. You either become disciplined or you stay disappointed. You either break your old patterns or you become a prisoner to them. That's the truth. The change doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins when you say, I've had enough. That sentence alone has power. That sentence can shift everything, but only if you follow it with action. You stop making room for weakness. You stop surrounding yourself with people and environments that keep you stuck. You change what you consume. You change how you talk to yourself. You change your schedule. You build a new life around your new standards, not gradually, immediately. Don't keep one foot in the old life, hoping it'll fade away. It won't. Weakness doesn't leave on its own. You have to destroy it. That means being aggressive with your decisions. That means cutting off the behavior completely, not reducing it. That means calling it what it is, a problem, a block, a drag on your momentum. Stop softening the truth. Be clear, be ruthless. That's how serious change is made. You have to create an identity that no longer supports those weak habits. You have to see yourself differently, not as someone who's trying to change, but as someone who has already decided there's a difference. One is always fighting doubt. The other has already crossed the line. You can't keep identifying with the version of you that gave in, that delayed, that wasted time. That version is gone. You've buried it. Now you build something better in its place. Don't confuse consistency with motivation. You won't feel motivated every day. That's normal. But if you've made a full commitment, it doesn't matter how you feel. You show up. You do the work. You stay the course. That's how you build real discipline. That's how you earn self-respect. Every day you follow through, you strengthen the new version of yourself. Every time you say no to a weak habit, you take power away from it. Every day you act like the person you want to become. You step further into that reality. There is no neutral ground. You are either building strength or feeding weakness. You are either moving toward your goals or drifting from them. So look at your daily actions. Be honest. Are they helping you grow, or are they keeping you small? Are they bringing you peace, or are they leaving you empty? Don't lie to yourself. You already know the answer. And if you're not happy with it, fix it. Don't explain it. Don't defend it. Fix it. Start with the first decision you make today. Start with the way you speak, the way you think, the way you move. Everything matters. Nothing is too small. Weak habits don't get destroyed all at once. They get destroyed in pieces, in the daily grind, in the silent moments where no one sees you, but you choose to stay strong anyway. That's where the real work happens. And that's the work that builds a future worth living for. You have the power to reset your life, not by erasing the past, but by making today the line you don't cross back over. You draw that line in your mind. You say, this is where it ends. No more drifting. No more waiting. No more living with a mindset that pulls me down. From here on out, you move with clarity, with urgency, with force. You start with your routine, your habits, your time, your thoughts, and you shape them all around your vision. You train yourself to act when it's hard, to keep going when it's boring, to push when it's easier to coast. That's the mindset you need if you're going to live with purpose. That's the mindset that makes quitting no longer an option. It won't be perfect. You'll make mistakes, but that's not a reason to give up. That's a reason to recommit. Every setback is a reminder that your old life is still fighting to come back. Don't let it. You've come too far. You've seen too much. You've felt the cost of your weak habits. You've lived through the frustration. That's over now. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are the choices you make today. And today you choose to commit fully. Not halfway, not when it's convenient. Fully, because that's what it takes. Because that's what you owe yourself. Because you are done tolerating the habits that keep you ordinary, when you know you were meant to be more. You've got everything you need. Not next week. Not next month. Right now, all it takes is one moment of clarity. One moment of strength. One moment where you say, enough is enough, and actually mean it. That's how it begins. And once it begins, you don't stop. You keep going until the weak habits are gone. Until they don't even tempt you anymore. Until they are no longer part of your life. That version of you is waiting, and it's not that far away. One committed decision can start the process. One serious day can shift the momentum. And when you stack those days, you rebuild your life. You take back control. You silence the voice that says you'll never change, and you prove it wrong. One disciplined step at a time. You were not made to live in cycles. You were not built to live beneath your potential. You were meant to be strong, to lead your life with intention, to wake up with clarity, to go to bed with peace. That kind of life doesn't come from weak habits. It comes from full commitment. The kind of commitment you choose today. The kind of commitment that never looks back.